Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live and taking some questions. If you have them, we'll also do some CSS critiquing as well. Um, Let me know what you got. This week we have been we've done upper body day, and today was a leg day. So today was a fun one though. I opted out. You could have stayed in the gym and do some deadlifts and squats, things like that. Or you could go with me to run this hill that's about 300 meters round trip. So about 100 meters straight up and then kind of loops around, comes back to the beginning, 200 yards at an angle. um, so we did what we call random stuff up a hill day. And that was pretty darn good fun. Done it a few times over the years. This is just one of those fun ones you do. And here's how you do it. You do kind of like a squat pyramid where you do one squat and then you run the loop carrying something heavy, sandbag, kettlebell, um, a log, a person, whatever. And you just run that thing, basically go 1 to 10 with it, get 10 laps around it. It's pretty good. It's a couple miles of running by the end of it. And it's a good little leg warm up slash leg day. And then afterwards, we flipped some tires, did some kettlebell swings, some farmer walks, some fireman carries, some lunges, and that was a pretty good leg day today. And lungs, worked the lungs too. Um, Looks like we got our first question over here. I heard they are not offering rolls and buds anymore. That is not true. That is a false statement. Now, I will say this: they don't need people as much as they used to because the teams are overmanned right now. I think they said is 107% overmanned. So they don't need new people coming in, but they will still have buds classes and people will still graduate as people start to retire and get out of the military. It should balance out here soon. But as of right now, there is no need to grow the community. So if you are hurt, you fail something, um, chances of getting rolled really depend on your ability to be a good student up to that point, meaning you haven't failed other things. Um, you're meeting the standard, crushing things. We had one of our guys get rolled recently, but he was one of the faster runners and the faster swimmers in his class. So he had built some equity into it. He'd made it through Hell Week. That's another big one. Prior to Hell Week, it's going to be tough to find a role unless you are really impressing them. But you have to earn a role. You don't just get one if you fail something and you had a bad day. It's pretty tight these days. So I hope that answers that question. Is it dangerous to eat right before swimming? And what should you eat before swim? No, it is not dangerous to eat before swimming. I have done eating and swimming many, many times. It's actually harder on your body to eat than go running, because that it bounces around, it hurts. Next thing you know, you're getting cramps. Um, no, it is not dangerous. I've eaten a full rack of ribs and gone swimming. I've eaten a Chipotle burrito and gone swimming. Doesn't matter. Eat what you like. So there's my new back wall. Been playing around with it over the last few days. Got to get my camera to sit still. Got it on automatic focus right now. I'll fix that in future shows. But yeah, so a lot of my old stuff that I had for when I was in the team, as well as some gifts from other guys that were students in various programs. So, how much do they eat during third phase? A lot. You have your own little chow hall over at in the island, and you're not hurting for food. That is for sure. And during Hell Week, you eat every 6 hours. So there is a saying in Hell Week that just make it to the next meal and you're good to go. Now, in third phase, you will be eating some MREs often, just because of the nature of what you're doing. But it's not that bad. Let's see. I've heard you mention that you've trained guys to go HRT. How many of those guys just had experience of being a cop? Well, you can't go HRT unless you're an FBI agent, first of all. So everybody's an FBI agent, then they go to HRT. So all of them were FBI agents. Then they went on to their local SWAT team, which every branch of every big city department of the FBI has a SWAT team. That's a logical progression, but then you can move up and try out for selection for HRT, which is a really tough 2-week process. So pretty challenging. All right. Hey, while we have answered all these questions, let me share my screen and I'll show you the first swim video. So if you guys don't know, I have a TikTok page that's nothing but CSS videos. This is just one of them that I just posted up there. If you're trying to improve your breathing when you're swimming, you need to be swimming and practice. If you're not in swimming shape, you got to get in swimming shape by swimming more. Now, what do you guys see on this one? See that top arm? That top arm is that top arm's not fully extending. Notice, and it doesn't have an elbow injury. Notice he's just not pulling. Like he's missing out on like a little bit of his top arm push there, because you should be pulling with the top part of that stroke and then pushing with your triceps on the bottom part of that stroke. And then he has a kick and he holds the glide. Probably could hold the glide a little longer. He's got a decent kick. Needs to hold the glide 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Yeah, he's a second too soon. Somebody asked why so many CSS videos? Because seems to be a big sticking point for non-swimming athletes who are trying to go into various spec ops jobs that require swimming and diving. So this one's not bad. It's just mainly make sure that top arm is more of a freestyle catch where you're actually pulling water and pushing water behind you. That bottom arm's like a breaststroke skull, which was good. And then he has a kick and a glide, and he just needs to hold that glide a little more. Be a little tighter on his arm recovery too, going over his head, and just hold it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Yeah, he could glide another second with that stroke after that kick. All right, let's see. Just started week 4 of your first 12 weeks in the fall winter lift cycle. It's a good process. At 6 feet 205, I need to lose about 15 pounds. Should I continue the first 12 weeks or skip to the 13th? It doesn't matter. Just if you're trying to lose weight, you can still lose weight while you lift. You just have to eat less and watch what you're doing. Maybe add some more cardio on the back end of each day, whether that is non-impact cardio or more running or rucking maybe. Let's see. Yeah, but lose 6 feet 190. That's pretty good. I was 6 feet 195 going through buds, and that seemed to be a really good weight for me. Never got crushed by boats and logs, but I also was not too heavy to crush the O course and do above average on the runs. So Oh, let's see. Yeah, you need to read the article, How Can I Improve Breathing During Swimming? You need to read the article called Dude, I'm Not in Swimming Shape, and get started on that 50-50 workout. It's let me see. Look up Dude, I'm Not in Swimming Shape. Actually, I'm looking it up right now and I'm going to put it into the comment section. It's just a classic article for many people who are having issues with swimming, um, whether that is kicking off the wall and being able to do a pull out 400 yards into the swim, um, or it's just can't finish a 500, without having to take a rest, or they just get so winded after every 100. It's just you're not in swimming shape. That's pretty much it. So it's a lot different than running shape, believe it or not. A lot of people are unaware of that. So you got to get in swimming shape. Read that article, and you will see a workout in there called the 50-50. It's one of my favorite ways to get people in swimming shape quickly. See, what can you do if you pull a muscle or get a stitch during swimming? It hurts. Try to swim around it. For instance, if you get a leg cramp or a pulled muscle or a cramp or something in your legs, you can use your arms to get yourself to the end of the pool for that set. Just drag your legs and pull with your arms. If you get a stomach stitch, those are pretty rare when you're swimming. Most people get leg cramps when they swim. Guess you could get a stomach cramp when you swim, but most people don't. Most people get stomach cramps when they run with a full belly. So it could be, if you're getting a cramp in your legs when you swim, that you are flexing your calves too much when you're swimming. You got to relax your ankles so you're not flexing when you swim, because that will definitely mess you up and cause you to cramp. Was there ever a shark attack at Bud's? Not that I know of. Some people say there was, but no one was ever eaten or killed by a shark. All right. You guys are going to ask dumb questions like that. I am going to go back into sharing videos, and we'll do some more critiquing. So let me just share my screen again. We're going to critique. All right. Kick off the wall. This is a really good kickoff. In fact, it's so good, it's a little too long. And I guarantee you, if you're going halfway across a 25-meter pool with your kickoff, so that was a 10-second. If you look at the clock, that was 10 seconds underwater. He will not be able to maintain that for 500 yards unless he is like super lungs, because that's really hard to do. In fact, 300 yards into this, you're going to be coming up 5 seconds max, and you want to be breathing because you're getting tired. So I would say, even though you can get halfway across the pool, doesn't necessarily mean you need to. I mean, look at this thing. He's going for kicked off the wall. There's 5 seconds already. Hadn't even double arm pulled yet. Kick off. He's got a good transition. I mean, this is great. He's got a good breaststroke kick here, except for a couple times when he's making a splash. But he's got a really good breaststroke that can hold that glide a little longer. That's the biggest issue here, really, is that he needs to hold the glide a little longer. Good turnaround. Kick off the wall. Double arm pull. Doesn't lose any momentum. That's pretty good. So kick off the wall. So top arm, bottom arm, kick, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Yeah. He could just hold the glide just a little longer. Try to be in a better streamline position. Those biceps should be touching your ears when you're gliding, and you'll be able to glide a little faster and longer as well. So that was a good one. I like that one. How long to get used to running immediately after eating? Um, you know what? The only time I've ever really done it was at SEAL training. Because when you're going through SEAL training, you want as much food in you for fuel as possible. Last thing you want to do is be eating like a bird. I would say probably the one occasion when I would eat like a bird, maybe during lunch or something or breakfast, was if immediately after that meal I had to do a 4 mile timed run for time and effort. And that was always my weakness. If I had weakness going into buds, it was running. I had to bring my A game to those events in order to be, top 25% of the class. Um, so I would definitely say it depends on what you're talking about on the type of running that you're going to do. If you're going to just jog back to the compound and maybe do a PT or something like that, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter a bit. So, um, I mean, during Hell Week, it doesn't matter at all. You're going to eat as much as you can just because you need to stay warm. Even if you have log PT right after chow, you just eat, 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 because that's going to keep you warm and keep you able to move for the next 6 hours until you eat again. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my automatic camera here, but it is moving all over. Something I do need to fix. So I got a new camera, a new wall, rearranged my office, all that stuff done this week. So I'm still testing out a few things. Let's see. Have you sent an email explaining what's going on with your books that I missed? John Doe, no, you should send me an email and I will answer you. We'll have customer service send you the tracking information on those as well. So send me an email. Let's see. Yeah, he was bringing his head too much out of the water too. Lifting his head instead of turning his hips. Yep, good point. Good catch. My brother just got me one of your books for Christmas. Thanks for all your info. Thank you. Thank you. Thoughts on swimming 4 miles 5 days a week? Why? If you want to just swim 20 miles a week, that's a lot of swimming. I usually get probably about 10K a week. So what's that? 3 miles a week? So that's a lot of time in the water. I don't have that much time to be able to swim that much. I mean, I guess it just depends. Trying to be a endurance swimmer, then yes. Trying to kill some time, doing some workouts, it's a good way to do it. I'm not sure. It depends on your goals. If you're trying out for buds, I would not. You need to work on other things besides swimming 2.5 hours a day. When scissor kicking, is it best to turn your torso before kicking or kicking before turning your torso? Does either help avoiding having an inefficient breaststroke scissor kick hybrid? That's a tough one to answer without seeing it, but typically yes. I'm on my side when I scissor kick, and then I glide. During the glide, I'll roll over about 45 degrees and hit that first arm pull for the next stroke. But yeah, you definitely, where most people screw up and do the breaststroke scissor kick hybrid is they kick, and in the middle of their kick, they rotate over to their belly. So it turns this scissor kick into a breaststroke kick. So I hope that helps. Are wetsuits convenient to wear in a pool? I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, unless the pool's freezing. If the pool's under 60 degrees, yes. Otherwise, you're going to sweat your butt off doing a swim workout in a wetsuit in warm water. You do sweat swimming. You just don't realize it. And you'll be really hot in a wetsuit in a pool. Just has to be cold to wear a wetsuit. I usually put on a wetsuit at about 60, 65 degrees, and depending on for how long I'm swimming. If I'm swimming for only 1,000, I'll probably still go without a wetsuit at 60. But anything under 60 is starting to get really cold, and you'll get hypothermia really quick without it. Here's a question: any tips on training for psoas specifically, or does training for buds cover it? Yes and no. I mean, you're doing an abbreviated buds. I mean, you're only really putting out for a week. So they're going to test you a lot. So they're going to test you on the PST. So you need to really be crushing the PST. You know, if you're getting ready for buds, you don't necessarily need to crush the PST once you've crushed the PST. You need to focus on getting through buds and doing 4-mile runs and 2-mile swims with fins and preparing your body for log PT and boat runs and things like that. So with this abbreviated version, the objective grading that you are going to be experiencing will be in a PST, might even do 2 of them. There'll be probably some lift in there, maybe like the operator fitness test, or I think they call it um, the human performance test, HPT. Has a like body weight and a half deadlift, 20-pound pull up, some shuttle runs in there. I've written about it. You may see that again. Sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. SOAS has only been in existence since 2014, so they have made multiple changes each time, but it's primarily used to test and interview you as a leader. How vocal are you whenever you are under the boat? If you're in charge of a boat crew leader at the time. So it's going to be pretty intense on them just grading you on a lot of those little things like that. But be good at all the objective grades as well, because you will see PSTs. You'll do logs and boats. It's going to be kind of like Hell Week that 1 week. Not as hard as Hell Week, but you're going to be sleeping in a tent on the beach, very little for a week, and you'll be asked to perform quite extensively in that week period. So it's pretty challenging little event. And then the week after that, you'll do interviews and psychological tests and other things like that. So just have your interview stuff ready and why you want to be a SEAL, and maybe know some current events pretty well, be able to speak on any topic that they give you, that's related to SEAL teams maybe. Has anyone used one of those weight buoyancy belts when swimming? I know some guys run with weight vest. I don't know. Running with a weight vest makes sense. I've never used any weighted swimming drills, though. When you scuba dive, you'll have a weight vest on. That's about it. But just if you want to make swimming harder, wear clothes when you swim. Okay, last question. How can you avoid breathing in water while swimming front crawl? When I do it, I end up coughing and sputtering. You need to learn how to swim, because that's not how it happens. I would seriously take lessons. Don't try to teach yourself. And I mean, you can do that if you've got a decent foundation of swimming under you, but it might be helpful to just take a lesson or two and actually turn to breathe Don't pop up to breathe, because every time you pop up to breathe, you're going to just be dragging all of that. You need to turn to breathe. So rotate your body, get your head out of the water, turn to breathe. And you have to time it with your top stroke, or I guess the stroke on the side that you're breathing on, right? So whenever that arm passes you, you got to be turning and time it so you've exhaled everything while you're turning, and then you're inhaling when your face is out of the water. Man, Jojo, what are you killing me with these questions? Do I have trouble falling asleep? No, I never have trouble falling asleep. Off subject. This better be good. Coming from, I'm hoping to be in the Oklahoma Trooper Academy. No, this is a great question. Some of these other ones have been lame, but I need to beef up. Any books, pointers for putting on mass? Yes. I have a cycle of training. It's called Seasonal Tactical Fitness Periodization. And it is all about having basically a winter lift cycle. So that means you're going to lift big, you're going to eat big, and you're going to put on some mass. I'm going to put in a little link here to that article, but it just explains the cycle of like working your way through all the elements of fitness so you don't have any of these glaring weaknesses, whether it's a strength weakness, it's a height weight weakness, like you're too light for your height or you're too heavy for your height, endurance, muscle stamina, speed and agility, grip, all of those things will come into play in your training. We do something where we'll break up the year into 4 seasons. We have a fall and winter lift cycle. We have a spring and summer transition out of the lift into weighted calisthenics and a little harder calisthenics. And then we transition into more running as well. So it's a progressive cycle we do every year. We change it up every year to add in some variety, but the focus is the same. During the winter, we are focusing on lifting and putting on mass. For those who are already big, we do not. We pull back some of those sets and we put on more cardio. Same way in the summer. If there's a guy that's a great runner, we'll have him run a little bit less, do some weighted activities instead of just pure calisthenics and running. So it just depends on what you're focusing on, and you'll see it. But the spring, summer, fall, winter lift cycles, tactical strength is a good one. Tactical fitness is a good one. Those are really broad and will help you with those areas. I have another one called the SWAT Workout. In fact, that might be ideal for you. And if you go into stewsmithfitness.com and you see the free books section, I'm actually giving away books right now because you see, I have no longer have books behind me. I'm not going to be shipping off any books anymore from my office. That's got a good lift cycle in there too, and it has some running kind of balances it out too to keep your cardio up too. You need to eat to put on some mass though. But yeah, the deal that I'm doing is I only have 2 titles left. Probably have about 30 more books total. So I have like Warrior Workouts Volume 2, and I have the SWAT Workout. If you buy one of them, you get the other one for free. Or if you don't want to buy anything, just send shipping and handling. Tell me which one you want, and I'll ship it to you for free. You just pay the shipping. So, in fact, I'll let me put that link in there because it probably won't be lasting much longer. I'll be surprised if this goes into the new year because I am getting rid of books every day. So yeah, this is, like I said, I only have 2 books. I have a SWAT workout book and I have Warrior Workouts Volume 2. Both of them have winter lift cycles in them. The warrior workouts are kind of fun. It's not a program. It's 100 individual workouts arranged in that same periodization seasonal cycle that I mentioned. So there's like 25 workouts for the spring, 25 workouts for the summer, 25 workouts for the fall, 25 workouts for the winter. And they're ideal for if you're already on a program, you just want some variety, pick and choose one of them. So treat it kind of like an a la carte program versus an actual every day you follow this program. It just gives you ideas for some variety. But yeah, you buy one of those, you get the other one for free. I only have 2 left, or 2 titles left. It's like I have, yeah, I'd probably say maybe less than 30 now. But yeah, they're going fast. But getting rid of them, and happy to give you one if you just want to pay the shipping. You think you could get Shelton Stevens from 13 Bar on the podcast? Yeah. I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to join me. We can talk some tactical fitness. I love having other ideas on there as well, because I tell people all the time, I have a way to train, not the way to train, right? So let me know. Let me know if I can help you. All right. I think I have one more video to show if you guys want to see it. Can't remember which one this one is. So I'll do one more video. If there's any more questions, I'll answer those after this video. Other than that, we'll do this video and we'll sign it off. So what do we have here? Top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. I don't think I've watched this one either. So top, bottom, kick, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Probably over gliding. I think he's probably losing some momentum because if I can say that third Mississippi and see you stop moving, that is like you lose all your momentum in the stroke. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Yeah, there you go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Yeah, pretty good. A couple of times I think he just wasn't consistent and just over glided, lost some momentum. Need to work on that freestyle catch a little more, try to grab more water out in front, push it, pull it, and push it back. Let's get it on the way back here again. Let's see what's going on. This looks like the strong side. So top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. It's got timing down pretty well. He rotates. See how he turns to breathe? He doesn't pop up to breathe. That's how you do the freestyle. By the way, for those of you guys who are asking about freestyle, this right here, same thing as freestyle. That top arm pull is your freestyle and breath stroke. Right? It's just during the bottom one, you're on your side, or instead of being on your belly and hitting that right arm, it just goes up under you during your inhale. So you inhale during your bottom arm pull during that stroke. That's pretty good. Not as bad as I thought it would be. So greetings from India. Nice. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Let's see. When wanting to lose weight and or gain muscle mass, assuming one is eating a clean, balanced diet, are there any supplements worthwhile? I'm not the supplement guy, to be honest with you. I don't use a lot of supplements. I have some greens, like super greens, that I like to eat mixed with my vanilla milk and collagen protein. And the main reason I'm doing that is because when I eat whey protein as a addition to my meals, I tend to put on a lot of weight, especially if I am lifting heavy. So I decided to test out collagen peptides this year for protein supplementation. But that's all I do. I mean, I do a multivitamin and some vegetable powder, in my milk. And and some little bit of protein, but not a whole lot. So I'm not really the guy, and I definitely don't try to put on muscle mass. Because nowadays I can just look at weights and gain weight. I can look at food and gain weight. So I try to, definitely an easy gainer, hard loser now. Whereas when I was a teen, I was a hard gainer, easy loser. So it came off easy, but it was hard to put on. I guess that's just with age. But it's all about, good, clean diet and bigger portions if you're trying to gain weight, smaller portions if you're trying to lose weight. And I'm really not the guy to ask about supplements, depending on what you want to do. Referencing your rucking progression, walking every day for 30 minutes for the first month. Should I continue running at the same time? My running is good. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand that's not a personalized program, so you need to personalize it. If you're a good runner, you should still be running. Those things aren't replacement tools. Like, think about it. If you're not good at running, I would start you off walking, right? But if you're good at running, you might even be able to skip a few weeks, just to build up to rucking. I'm assuming you're rucking with weight, walking with weight, and progress that way. So, yeah, personalize it. See, I've lost a lot of muscle mass since I've gotten to college. Woo, that is a drop because of a combination of personal issues. And I was wondering if I should lift strictly, then transition into calisthenics. 1, 2. That's up to you. Some people, I personally like to build a foundation of calisthenics first and then go into heavier lifting, but some people like to do it the other way around. I think you're fine either way. My preference would be to, make pull-ups and push-ups and dips and squats and lunges easy, kind of go through the pains of those exercises without adding weight. Then, depending on your facilities or whatever, you can either add a weight vest to all your calisthenics as you transition into more weighted activities in the weight room, or you could go right into the weight room and do that. So it just kind of depends on your facilities, what you have available to you. But it's up to you. Either one will work for you at this time. Just remember, if you want to be big, you got to eat big and lift big. What would you recommend for gaining more weight? Eating more food, 20 plus pounds, and lifting more weights. That's what I would recommend. Sorry to make it so simple, but it really is. It's harder than it sounds, but it really comes down to you eating more food, good food, and lifting weights to get bigger muscles. Now, you can still get big muscles with calisthenics and a lot of eating. I've seen people put on mass with calisthenics too. Might not be a bad way to transition into that if you're new to weight training. But the key is you need a caloric surplus to put on more weight, and you need to be lifting to make it muscle. How many guys from your group shipped off this year? Good question. I don't know. I'd say at least 20. Probably. Many of them in different pipelines. We got Rangers, we have SF, we have SEALs, SWIC. Yeah. Bunch of them finished SQT this year. That was fun to see. In fact, those paddles back there are SQT paddles. Guys that I coached gave me their gave me their graduation paddles, which I thought that was pretty cool. On the Art of Manliness podcast, yeah, that was a long time ago. You mentioned that you've been testing out um, Warrior Diet. What are your thoughts on it? And would you recommend it for weight loss? You know what? Find something that works for you. I've had to test out dozens of ways to eat before I just figured out I just need to control my portions, because I grew up a hard gainer, meaning I had to eat so much just to maintain body weight of a powerlifting football player. So those habits stuck with me. And even in my 20s, when I was, um, no longer a hard gainer, I still had those habits, but my output of calories was so high because I was either preparing for spec ops or in spec ops and just, killing hard workouts. So I was actually outworking my diet, so to speak. Um, but then when 30s hit and 40s hit and now 50s, I can no longer outwork my diet. So I have been practicing multiple methods, from vegetarian diets to Mediterranean diets, the warrior diet, intermittent fasting, keto diets, paleo. Tested them all out, because if I'm going to write about them, and I've written articles about several of them, I just wanted to test them out, see if they work. And I'd try them for a couple of months, see what works. And yeah, they all worked. If you listen to your body and do what they say in the diet, they will work for you. Um, so, yeah, try it out. See what you think of it. I recommend everybody, instead of asking what I think about a certain diet or program or whatever, just try it. Just try it out. See if it works for you. That's the best way to get an answer that works for you, because what works for me may not work for you. And that comes to both working out and dieting. So there's my 2 cents on that. Great question, though. I'm a hard gainer. Going to replace some of the foods I eat to lessen the processed food intake. That's good. You need to do that for sure. How control weight loss during running? You know what? I have seen people gain weight doing marathon training. You know how they did it? They ate a lot of food, and they ate calorie dense food. Yeah, they ate their fruits and vegetables and all that, but they ate a lot of nuts and uh, good fats that have, very high calories. Like avocado and coconut. Um, what are some others? Nuts. Peanut butter. That's a big one. Man, I tell you one thing I would recommend if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight for that matter, make a food diary. Write it all down. Write everything you put in your mouth and how much, and then you'll be able to assess at the end of the week what happened, why you didn't gain weight, why you did gain weight. Um, and you might be able to find a formula for you that works. So you need to test it out and see if it does work for you. But um, yeah, I've definitely gained weight during running cycles, but I was eating like a horse, because you got to figure, if you're doing a decent running cycle, let's say you're hitting 30 miles a week or more, you're going to definitely need to probably up your caloric intake by another 500 calories, just so you can have a little surplus to either gain weight or maintain weight. If I'm a solid runner for both 6 and 7 minute miles, that's great. That's where you want to be. Would it be dangerous to bump up to 45 miles a week and throw in some 8, 9 miles? No, it's not dangerous to do that. I just don't know why you necessarily need to, because if you're that good of a runner, do you have another weakness that you can spend 2 hours on that week focusing on. Maybe it's treading water, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's lifting weights. I don't know. Just kind of depends. If you're already hitting 6-7 minute miles, that's great. If you can run, 27-minute 4 miles, perfect. You can run faster than that, great. I think fastest I ever did was like 26:30. But there were definitely guys hitting 25s in the class. But I wouldn't strive for that necessarily because you have 32 minutes to fail it. I recommend just being under that failure mark. So when your legs are tired and you can get a 27 without a whole lot of effort, that's kind of where you want to be for a 4-mile run. 27, 28 at your slowest. All right. Let's see. What's this? I know you were on Stu's, but Jake Zwig will probably say the same things. Stu, and that is you don't need to be a runner over 30, 35 miles a week. Yes, I would say that. But it really depends. I, once again, needed to be a better runner. So I ran more. I lifted a whole lot less. And I never once wished I'd lifted weights prior to going to SEAL training. I wish I'd run more. Because that was just always my gut check. But my story is different from everybody else's. I mean, some people may have a similar story, especially if you grew up in the power lifting football world. Running is not easy after 100 meters. So I was always in the 30, 35 mile a week range. In fact, I still am. This summer I ran 30, 35. And right now I'm about, in this winter lift cycle, I'm about 15 to 18 miles a week. So I don't stay there year round. I just kind of go through a cycle. So if you're going to run 40, 45 miles a week, don't stay there year round. Run through a cycle of it. But I'm not sure it's necessary unless you need to work on your aerobic ability, which if you're running 6-7 minute miles, it doesn't sound like you need to. I have a workout where I was like, keep it at 25, but all of them at 6 and 7 minute pace. Don't run slower than 7 minute pace. And that will be enough for you. What's a good plan for dropping weight, increasing pull-ups when they aren't very good? Well, we've discussed a lot of weight loss answers in this show, and that is eating less food, running more. But yeah, practicing pull-ups, building some strength on your pulling muscles. And the cool thing about pull-ups is the lighter you get, the better you're going to be at pull-ups. So if you're overweight, pull-ups will improve as you lose weight. But if you can do a few pull-ups at your current weight, that's kind of like weight training, right? Now imagine at 15 pounds lighter, and you do a few more reps. So get on that pull-up bar and start doing pull-ups, whether it's negatives or it's jumping pull-ups or whatever. Just get on there and start crushing them. If you can't do them, then do an easier version, like an assisted pull-up or a band pull-up. Maybe mix in some really heavy pull downs where you're only getting 2 or 3 reps, but you're working those pulling muscles in there. All right, let's see. Start using your 50-50 method for everything since you wrote that article last week. Makes a hell of a workout. Yeah, that's a good one. In fact, it's still up there. In fact, I posted it in the comments section, or I guess in the description of this article. And it's really kind of a combination of both 50-50 model and the 5-minute on, 5-minute off model like I use for mobility day. But you do like a 5-minute strength, 5-minute weakness, 5-minute strength, 5-minute weakness, and go through an hour-long workout of that. So let's see. Jackson says, love the office setup. As for guys you knew who were prepping for HRT selection, What programming did you advise them to follow? They were, well, two of them were local guys that just did our local workout. So our spring, summer, fall, winter program is what they did prior to leaving. One of them, a few years ago, before I'd written that cycle, basically did the tactical strength cycle with us, and then he was with us for the spring, summer run cycle. And he said it's a lot of running, a lot of stair climbing, a lot of lunging. So, but it's basically like a mini hell week. Okay, Jackson says playing devil's advocate, providing you're running 30, 35 miles a week at a quick pace is running extra 20 to 30 at a slower pace on top of that detrimental. No, I don't think it's detrimental. It might help your aerobic base, but it might not either. It might just be another 20 or 30 miles of impact injuries that you now have to deal with. Or it's you know, if you're already hitting 6-7 minute miles for 30, 35 miles a week, that's plenty. I mean, it's, you know, the extra time that it takes to run another 20 or 30 miles on top of that, you could be focusing on some other weakness. I think where a lot of people screw up their training when they go to buds is they have a certain strength right here where this is what they've been doing all their life, and they get good at it. And they spend a lot of time getting really good at it, right? To the detriment of a weakness that may be an opposite weakness. So, like running to lifting. I've seen a lot of lifters just keep lifting, but they suck at running or they suck at treading, right? And then guess what? They don't last 2 or 3 weeks because they failed drown proofing or they failed treading or they've, you know, haven't been able to pass a 4-mile timed run. So, on the flip side, I've seen a lot of guys come in there at like 24-minute 4-mile timed runs, get crushed by a log and boat, couldn't handle grinder PT or the O course. They didn't have grip strength to handle the O course. So there's a lot of weaknesses that you need to focus on. And if you're a great runner, great. You know, I was a great lifter, you know, but you know how much lifting I did prior to buds? Zero. Very little compared to what I was doing. I ran, swam, biked, and did a whole lot of calisthenics. So, once again, never once wish I'd lifted weights. Wish I'd have run more. Let's see. Indian from India. Nice. Army Special Forces running 16 miles each day with 18 kilogram back. Woo, that's a lot. How to increase running 30 miles per day. I don't recommend that. Now, first of all, 30 miles is a lot of running. Like most people don't do that in a week. I'm not sure you need to do that in a day. I mean, that's impressive, and that's rucking at that. So, you know, a mile is like 16. What is a mile? 1,600 meters, right? So, 1.6 kilometers is a mile roughly. Those are some crazy dimensions, is all I'm saying. Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of running, and yeah, to prepare for that, you should be running and rucking a lot, but I wouldn't try to match it, right? I think in Hell Week you probably run over 100 miles, but there's never been a week in my life that I ran 100 miles. You know, it's just one of those little gut checks you got to suck up. But you want to have a good foundation of running under your belt, and 16 miles a day is plenty. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't run that much personally. I mean, if you're running 80 miles a week, I mean, that's a lot of running. So just get good at running at a nice steady pace. But if you're rucking, just have a good stable body so rucking doesn't hurt you. But I think you may wind up burning yourself out doing that many miles a day in preparation to where you get there, you do it, now you're breaking versus kind of peaking too early. Does that make sense? All right, last question. I got to bail. Pretty young, want to be a SEAL. If possible, join SAD. Um, that's cool. Very good runner and swimmer. I can also do many sit ups and pull ups. I'm a team player. What else can I do? No, just if you're still in high school, keep playing sports. Crush your grades. Consider what's next after high school. I personally recommend you know waiting a few years before you go into the military right out of high school, especially if you're trying to go into special ops. Most people aren't finished growing yet. There are a few people who can make it through training at 18 years old. They are a rare breed for sure. Um, being a little more mature is also a helpful thing too. So just keep doing what you're doing. Add some weights in there too. Play a sport that requires some weight training, maybe. So, all right. On this last note, um, hey, go kick butt on that mission. LDS. Enjoy. Nice. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. Remember, I'm giving away books. Only got 2 titles left. Warrior Workout and SWAT Workout. If you go to stewsmithfitness.com, click the free workouts link on the drop down menu. I'll send you a book or buy one, get one free, either one. And then let's see, articles I've written either on military.com or stewsmithfitness.com, brand new ones. Check out the TikTok page. As I have a whole bunch of CSS videos over there on TikTok, and it's just me doing a voiceover of people submitting videos of that. It's a great one-stop shop for just fixing your swim, right? That's a good one. Let's see what else. I guess that's it. Until next week, we'll do another live Q&A and CSS critique on Tuesday. So look for other podcasts too. I got some podcasts lined up here in the next few weeks, and I'll have them out on YouTube as well as where they play podcasts. So until next time, we'll see you. Have a good one.